Alrighty, welcome back to Shock and Schlock. I'm your host, Herschel Gillis, and today is day 27 of the 31 Days of Horror Reviews. Um, Back at it with a sort of modern classic, or at least very well known movie in the mainstream for something that would usually be something pretty underground, which is Tom Six's The Human Centipede from 2009. If you have somehow not seen The Human Centipede, it's about these two girls who are in Germany. They are taking a car out when it's raining. The car breaks down, and the return of events that leads them to the like villa house of a crazed mad scientist named Dr. Hyder, who of course captures them and turns them along with another person into a human centipede by sewing the three people mouth to anus. Now, this is a film that has always been fascinating to me in the way that it got such a mainstream success almost. Like, this was talked about. It was on South Park, and, it was, like, joked about on talk shows and, like, everything for a movie that is pretty extreme in its concept. I won't say execution, but we'll get to that. I always found that really interesting, and a lot of people like make jokes about it. And I feel like a lot of the mainstream audience didn't actually watch this. I know some people did, but a lot of these. This is a film that I feel like a lot of reviews or people talking about it have not actually seen the film, and are just like, that's disgusting. Why would you want that? Much like a Serbian film, it's one of those to me. But the thing is, the Human Centipede, the first one, not the second or third. Those are for another day. Human Centipede 2 I'll definitely review at some point. The third one, probably not. But the thing is this is sort of just a B movie. Like, it's not anything that crazy. The most disturbing part of this is the initial concept. The film itself is not the most disgusting thing ever. There's not a ton of gore in this. There's like a little bit, but it's nothing crazy. Um, there is the feed her scene, which is pretty infamous. But you don't see much either. It's like, once again, it's just the implication is much more disturbing than the actual output. But the thing is this is a really fun little movie, though. I think the pacing is pretty good in this. It does take a little while to get to what is promised here, because we know what's going to happen. We know what's happening. It does take a little bit of time to get there. We should sped up a little bit, or we got more time with them as the centipede. We do get quite a bit, and this is sort of like, my opinion of that is sort of impacted by the sequel, because the sequel we see a lot more of it. It's a lot gorier and in your face and disgusting and disturbing, what have you. It's also kind of funny, but this one is much more restrained, especially for the concept. I actually think this movie is pretty funny at times. Theodore Laser, rest in peace, who plays Dr. Hyder, does a spectacular job. I don't think without him, this film wouldn't even be a quarter of what it is. He just brings this almost cartoonish level of malice to the film that I really appreciate. He's very over the top while also being like very serious in the role, and I think he does a stellar job. I don't think anybody that will watch this, like it or hate it, I don't think you're going to argue that his performance is not one of the better parts of the film. And he is like a cartoon character, like I mentioned. Like, he eats an entire bowl of like canned fruit salad, and I just thought that was really weird. Like, it's like a large thing. That was the most disturbing part of this. And there's this little funny things in this, like, we are shown the first attempt at doing this with dogs, and it's just the same dog photoshopped 3 times. Hilarious. Loved it. I think the acting away from Dr. Hyder is not great. I'll be completely honest with you. Ashley the Indian, Ashley C. Williams playing Lindsay, and Ashley the Indian as Jenny. I think they're fine and passable, but when we're compared to like Deidre Laser's performance, they kind of fall weak. They're a little bit not necessarily wooden, but they're a little too over, um, and not in like a fun way. They just seem overacted in a lot of the ways when they don't really have to be. Akihiro Kitamura is also in this. He's a CEO and Sono collaborator, who was the front of this, so he's really the only like main actor away from Dieter Laser. We get a couple of detectives in this as well who do fine, but he's really good as well. I appreciated his performance, and just like the absurdity and everything is portrayed really well in this by him a lot of the time too. And he brings some much needed levity at times as well. He's, you know, almost like it's almost comical in a lot of ways in this. Like, yeah, just a lot of it. And it's just darkly funny. Like I mentioned, it is darkly funny. Like the Centipede is treated like a dog by the Dr. Hater, like getting the um, newspaper and like biting his leg and everything like it's an animal, like one individual thing. And I feel like the horror elements in this are like not played up as much as they could be, but I feel like that makes for a much more watchable experience. This has a very Frank Henenlotter vibe to it, I would say, in a lot of ways. At least to me personally, that's what I got from it. I found it really fun and amusing. And this is a film that is just, the concept is so absurd, and it does almost fully capitalize on that concept there. And the part where Dr. Hater is explaining what he's going to do and how he's doing it is so perfect tonally to me. I just absolutely love that scene. Even, I know the Centipede hasn't even been formed at this point. That is by far my favorite scene in the film. It is incredible. Funny and gross and weird and scary in a weird way. I think that's what this film does right overall. It's a very well made movie too. I feel like a lot of people kind of skim over that. Um, the cinematography is very well done. The effects are very well done. Just yeah, Tom Six really, like, visually he's a good filmmaker. He's good behind the camera. Um, and while I do think this concept is better capitalized on in the sequel, which is just cranked up to 11 on every front, and I will be reviewing that probably not this month, but I will be getting to it. Um, yeah, I just recommend this. If you haven't seen it, it's a really fun one. It's, if there were ever to be a party movie of like extreme cinema, it would certainly be this one. It's very fun. It's a very good late night dark comedy horror movie. So yeah, give it a go if you haven't seen it. That's it. Thanks for watching. As always, I've been your host, Josh Gill, signing off for now. Zero thoughts, zero editing, zero planning, and zero brain cells. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Keep your notifications on. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.